Whenever the history of Seattle and the Pacific Northwest is being seriously discussed, the name Herman Sarkowsky will always have prominence. Original owner of the Seattle Seahawks and Portland Trail Blazers, founder, leader, and consultant on countless other business and sports ventures, 6 decades in racing, and an original investor in Emerald Downs. Today, he becomes a welcome member of the Washington Thoroughbred Hall of Fame. Members of the local political and racing communities expressed reverence for Sarkowsky in an article by David Eskenazi at Sports Press Northwest. King County Councilman Peter von Reichbauer: he was a classy owner. He was visible and invisible. He had not a golden touch, but a platinum touch. Howard Wright: he took calculated risks and wouldn't be boxed in by conventional thinking. Dave Herensberger: he never said a bad word about anybody, and nobody ever said a bad word about him. Ron Crockett: most of us have a career. Herman had several, and all were great. Sarkowsky's been to the mountaintop in a varied number of endeavors, and thoroughbred racing is no exception. Sarkowsky purchased horses at auction, and many of his best were homebreds. Phone Chatter won 4 of 6 starts as a juvenile and went all the way to the top in 1993, winning the Breeders' Cup and an Eclipse Award. Dixie Union was a tremendous racehorse and a highly successful sire. He began his career with a victory over a horse who'd become known as one of the world's fastest sprinters.
Caller 1 with 3/16 to go is about to be challenged by Dixie Union, who's running home well. Still the lead though belongs to Caller 1. He's getting away again, a length and a half from Dixie Union with a 16th to run, well clear of 4-way action. Now Dixie Union knuckling down to the task. Comes to Caller 1 and Dixie Union gets up to beat Caller 1.
When I started training, I kept calling his office and it'd say Seahawks Incorporated. He was the managing owner of the Seahawks at the time. Me being a horse trainer, I didn't know anything about horses. So I kept wondering, what are the Seahawks? And I asked the secretary, what are the Seahawks? A fishing boat or something like that? She laughed and says, I can't wait to tell Herman this. And Herman made a lot of fun of me for a long time for that.
Horse racing piqued Sarkowsky's interest in the early 60s. His first horse was Longacre's runner Foreign Sea, and he was loyal to that horse, giving 2 more thoroughbreds the exact same name. The current Foreign Sea won for Sarkowsky at Emerald Downs and, by the way, is currently on a 6-race winning streak in New Mexico. Sarkowsky always found his way to the top. The Longacres Mile was and is the goal for Northwest horsemen, and Sarkowsky owned the mile favorite in 1971. Titular II seemed like a sure winner until distracted in mid-stretch. By the time he got going again, it was too late. He finished 3rd. Sarkowsky would exercise patience and wait for another chance in the mile. Sarkowsky raced Sharper 1, one of the top Washington breds of the 80s. As a 3-year-old, he took 4 straight stakes at Longacres.
Sharper 1 in Colonel Stevens. Sharper 1 on the inside. Colonel Stevens, those two, their heads apart for the lead. Colonel Stevens, Sharper 1, they're neck and neck. It's Sharper 1.
Record-setting Longacres jockey Gary Stevens was Sharper 1's rider, and a win at Santa Anita helped Stevens get noticed in a major circuit. Further contributing to Washington racing and breeding, Sarkowsky stood sires Sharper 1 and He's Tops. He's Tops has sired 3 Washington champions. At Emerald Downs, there were many racing successes with trainers Grant Forster and Doris Harwood. Forster trained You Can't Take Me, sired by the Sarkowsky bred He's Tops, and out of the Sarkowsky bred dam, Takeaway. You Can't Take Me was unbeaten and untouchable at Emerald Downs in 2003.
And she is the belle of the ball. It's You Can't Take Me by 5, down past the 16th pole, and she has swept the 3-year-old filly division and has the Oaks all wrapped up. A tremendous horse. You Can't Take Me wins the Oaks by 3.5 Caldera.
Young Grant Forster was just starting out on his own and got horses to train for Sarkowsky.
Mr. Sarkowsky and I formed really a great relationship. I was so lucky to train for him, and I learned so much from him. He was just really a neat man and just had such a passion for the game of thoroughbred horse racing. I was very fortunate to come along at a time in his career when he had brought He's Tops up here to stand stallion. to stand as a stallion in the state of Washington, and it coincided with him breeding some very nice mares to the sire, and we were really lucky, right off the bat with him. Obviously, You Can't Take Me and No Giveaway were kind of the showpieces of that breeding program.
Back to the Long Acres Mile. In 2005, You Can't Take Me's full brother, No Giveaway, was winning local sprint races, including the Governor's Handicap. The mile was coming up in a few weeks, and trainer Grant Forster wasn't exactly sure No Giveaway could be effective at a longer distance.
I remember that phone call vividly to this day, calling him up, and there was basically, hello, how are you? And I want to go for the mile. And it was, like I said, I will always remember that moment. And as we got him ready for the race, the horse was doing fantastic, and the odds certainly didn't seem to be in our favor.
The public wasn't so sure No Giveaway fit in with the best in the West either. He was 60-1 at post time.
Quiet Cash in front, tackled by Flamethrower and Texan. Harvard Avenue down the outside, Desert Boom the centre, and then Sabertooth and No Giveaway coming up the rail. Quiet Cash in front, coming fast is Flamethrower and Texan, Desert Boom and No Giveaway. Quiet Cash struggling, No Giveaway's getting it in the centre, and No Giveaway will win the Long Acres Mile.
Sarkowsky campaigned champions and graded stakes winners. He'd won multiple million-dollar races, but winning the Long Acres Mile at Emerald Downs with a homebred had special meaning for this longtime Seattleite.
And Herman, this has got to be one of the satisfying moments of your sports career, which is storied.
Well, what I said before is that it's better than winning the Breeders' Cup, and I believe that. I tell you with all my heart, I really do.
I'll always believe that the racing gods wanted Mr. Sarkowsky to win a mile in his career, and that day will forever be with me. It's just a really, really special day.
As his platinum touch led him to leadership roles and successes in so many countless other endeavors, Herman Sarkowsky won the Northwest's biggest prize in racing. It was a very popular victory. His humble nature never held back keen perception, analysis, and implementation. What a legacy he left. Local horse racing benefited for 6 decades and welcomes Herman Sarkowsky into the Washington Thoroughbred Hall of Fame.